All right, there we are, 6 o'clock. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the regular DeKalb City Council meeting of March 10th, 2025, and call it to order. Roll call, please.
Zasada. Larson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
Powell.
Here.
Verbeck.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Mayor Barnes.
Here.
7 present.
All right, just so everyone knows, Alderwoman Zazada let me know ahead of time that she would not be able to make it. With that, we move on to agenda item B, Pledge of Allegiance. Captain Hy-Vee, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Shadow. Good luck tonight. All right, moving on to agenda item C, approval of the agenda. I would take a motion to approve the agenda as is.
So move. Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Powell. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Larson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Verbeck.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 aye.
The agenda has been approved. Now we're moving on to agenda item D, presentations. The first one, we have the DeKalb Police Department 2024 Annual Report. Chief, if you can come on up, and City Manager Nicholas, I think you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Mayor. As the chief is approaching the podium, I just want to say that the report that the chief is going to summarize tonight in behalf of the department describes the work of about 100 full-time employees and some part-time employees of one of the largest city department. And this is for 2024 for those that are looking in. Tonight in the audience, quite a number of members of that department are here. Officers, sworn officers of different ranks are here, telecommunicators, civilian employees, and one non-human employee, but a very, very vital part of our department. I hope you will look forward, as I did, to hearing the chief. The summary that he will present to you shows a considerable amount of progress toward the goal that you have and that we all have of a very safe and secure and growing community.
Excellent. Chief.
Thank you, City Manager Nicholas. I appreciate that. And of course, yes, we did fill the room today. As you can see, I have every member of the, at least representation from every division of the DeKalb Police Department in attendance. Chase just came in, Chase, where you at? There he is. All right. So Chase, Ronan, and Riggs, Ronan and Riggs could not be here today. So we want to make sure that we represent every member of the DeKalb Police Department tonight. So first of all, I have some thank yous. To start off, I want to thank my staff at the Chief's office. Melissa Nablock is here today with me. She actually developed the annual report, so I want to give her credit. Herself, Deputy Chief Leverton, along with our command staff, put together a very extensive 2024 annual report. It gives you a good idea of the effect that the DeKalb Police Department had in the city of DeKalb in the year 2024. So I want to thank her personally for a job well done, along with my command staff, including Deputy Chief Leverton, who could not be here today. My other thanks goes to City Manager Nicholas and the City Council. We could not do the job that we do every day without your support. You have given us the resources that we need to combat crime here in the city of DeKalb. Technology you have approved for us to use, including one of our resources like Chase has come through the City Council. So we could not thank you more for your support in giving us the resources. I've been around to different meetings with other chiefs, and I can tell you they do not all have the support that we have. So thank you for that. I would also like to say thanks to Human Resources Department, along with the Fire and Police Commission, because they have assisted us in recruiting high-quality candidates for a police officer, a lot of them who stand behind me. So thank you to them as well. And then lastly, of course, and not least, I want to thank every member of the DeKalb Police Department the ones that are in attendance, the ones who could not attend today. This report is reflective of the hard work and professionalism that every member of the agency had displayed on a daily basis. One of the things I tell them every day is, let's just win the day. We've been able to do that on a consistent basis, and it's due to their hard work and their due diligence that they provide every day. Every day I see it, they work extremely hard. So I want the residents of the city of DeKalb to know that from my mouth to their ears, how hard that these officers work, and not just our officers, our civilian personnel who are also in attendance, telecommunicators are in the room as well. They do an amazing job for the city of DeKalb. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that. All right, we'll get into the report. So we'll start out with some crime data. Of course, in this country right now, United States, we're dealing with extensive crime, lawlessness across the country. DeKalb is not immune to that. So we have been touched by a little bit of this. However, as you can see with some of the stats here, we've had major drops in violent crime. In 2023, we had 24 confirmed shots fired calls. In 2023, we had 24 shot fired calls. In 2024, it was reduced to 16. All right, so that is because of the hard work that these officers are doing on a daily basis. High visibility due to the increased staffing has definitely made an impact on this type of violent crime. Last year, I said that there was one category that having any number other than 0 would not be accepted, and that is the murder category. In 2024, we had 0 murders here in the DeKalb Police Department. In 2023, as you can see in your booklet, we have 5. We went from 5, one of those being a reckless homicide, to 0 in 2024. I think that is a very important stat. And these officers behind me and every member of the DeKalb Police Department, along with the citizens of DeKalb, and I do want to speak about, I know some people will say, how did we get to that number? It was the assistance of every member of the city of DeKalb. And one of the major transitions that we found out was that the 0 murders happened because we had police officers who were well trained. They were able to attend to serious injuries that we had to, where they had to triage patients, and they were able to transition from the police department to the DeKalb Fire Department, who did an excellent job of helping save lives as they transitioned to Kishwaukee Hospital and to St. Anthony's Hospital in Rockford. Without that transition from police to fire, from fire to the hospital, we would not have been able to attain 0 murders in 2024. So I want to thank every member of that transition team, because we could not do it if it wasn't for that. As you go into some of our NIBRS reporting, now NIBRS is our federal reporting. And if you look at it, everything that's shaded in green was a drop in that crime category. So this is the federal collection. So you can get this off of the NIBRS site. So we as a law enforcement agency have to report our stats federally. A lot of their statistical data doesn't always mirror up with the city, but we have to find a way to put those round pegs in the square holes. So this is what we did. And even with that not being apples to apples, we still saw a decrease in crime in those categories. And these are major categories. Like I said, and at the top of that is that murder category, where we ended up with 0 for the year. But as you can see, there's only, if you look at the categories, you have one category in red. And on this first page of Group A offenses, everything else is in green. And I'm very excited about this trend, because this is something that we can continue here at the DeKalb Police Department, is keeping this trend going based on the statistics that we have in front of us. So even if you go to the second page, there are a few more reds there, but there's still more green categories, meaning that we had drops in crime in those categories. Where you did see an increase, though, is, just some of these financial crimes. You did see some increases there. You see an increase in prostitution, but the DeKalb Police Department did a major prostitution sting last year, so that is a result of those numbers, and you see the impact there as well. Our weapons numbers pretty much stay consistent. So as you can see, we're still in the green, even in that category. Going to Group B offenses, you see a little bit more red, but that's based from our proactive activity. As you can see, the liquor law violations increased. We did several details last year, and we wrote several citations, so that you saw a major increase there. You see an increase in DUI enforcement. That is a direct correlation to less calls of service, less crime, so our officers can be proactive. So that's why you see an increase in DUI enforcement. So one of the areas where you do see a little bit of an increase, and this number is alarming, when we talk about domestic violence and related offenses. So at this time, the city of DeKalb PD, and several partners within the community of DeKalb, Safe Passage, Family Youth Services, DeKalb County Courts System, we're working to attempt to reduce this problem. Of course, as you are aware, this is a society issue. It's very complicated. We're doing everything that we can to reduce this number. We have members of our domestic violence unit in attendance today, and they have done everything they can to upgrade charges when the evidence is available to do so. So we're talking about strangulation. So our officers have been well-trained in identifying what strangulation looks like, and we've been seeking those upgrade charges anytime that we see the ability to do so. But this is going to take a true collaboration. This is going to have to, like I said, this is not a police problem. This is more of we react to those calls. The sanctity of the home is somewhere that we cannot be lawfully. Unlawfully. We have to be there lawfully. So at the end of the day, we're working hard. We have members of our domestic violence unit in attendance today. I can tell you they work extremely hard to try to help and change this behavior. It's going to be tough, but we're working at it. I know City Manager Nicholas, myself, Assistant City Manager Bob Riddell, we've had several meetings with the DeKalb County Court System along with Safe Passage, and we're going to try our best to change this behavior. But it is alarming. So as you can see, calls of service, we saw an increase. You can look at the numbers. Like I said, a decrease, in the calls of service. As you can see, about 1,000 calls of service of a drop from 23 to 24. So that gives us more opportunities to be proactive, which we've done. And like I said, it's a direct correlation where you see the number of arrests that we have. And, basically, it's directly related to the opportunities for our officers to be proactive, which we encourage. And I think at the end of the day, it is a deterrent of crime because you have high visibility, you have officers on traffic stops, their lights are activated, and we believe personally, and I've always believed this myself, that high visibility, more police presence will deter crime. Here are some more general statistics that you can see. Like I said, adult arrests are up, but like I said, we have made a lot of proactive arrests, proactive stops, warrant arrests, DUI arrests, and that officers have been doing on a nightly basis. We do a summary every night. I read it every night for each shift, and you can see every day, every shift, officers are making arrests from proactive stops. Traffic arrests, as you can see, DUI arrests are up. We went from 74 to 102, from 23 to 24. That's a major increase. That just shows the ability that officers have to be proactive. And we're saving lives, by the way. Every time we make a DUI arrest, it is extremely hard to quantify because you can't put a number to it. But you have to believe that if you make a DUI arrest and take someone who's intoxicated from behind the wheel, that the possibility of saving not just someone else's life, but the life of the offender is in play. So I want to get into just basically an overall about our divisions and what they've been doing. The patrol division, like I said, very proactive over the last couple of years, and you can see the change in our statistical data based on it. So I want to thank every member who is here from the patrol division. Several different units. We have our canines. Those are the resources that we're using. You see Chase here today. He's been doing a great job. Chase is a gun dog, so we use him very effectively here in DeKalb to locate firearms, illegal firearms, and he has done an amazing job along with his handler as well. Of course, Officer Ball Smitty is here in the back with Chase, and he's doing a great job along with our other canines and other handlers. The investigative division, also represented in the room today, amazing job. We had some major cases last year. We had a bank robbery that I'll talk about. I guess I'll just speak about it now. We had a bank robbery last year where we started with little to no evidence. And these officers, tracked down this bank robber all the way to the city of Chicago. And one of our biggest tips and one that occurred actually came from one of our Husky buses who had 4K camera. So when we talk about safety cameras, and I'll get into a little bit more about that with our LPR system, but I just want everyone to know the benefit of having this technology. Without that camera being able to get, because the offender is actually turned in front of the bus and was caught on camera, and that was the beginning of our case. We were able to track him and that offender down based off of the camera footage that we got from the bus. So when I talk about technology, safety cameras, LPRs, it is extremely effective, and I am glad that we have that technology in the city of DeKalb, which was approved by City Council, and I just want you to know how important that is. And you can see with this case, because we came from a point of no evidence to actually taking someone into custody, and that was a big part of it. But I want to thank every member of our investigative division. They work tirelessly, they work a lot of hours, and they deal with most of our most heinous cases, as you can imagine. And they do it willingly, professionally, every day for the city of DeKalb. So we talk about community support services. We're talking about our SROs, our CSOs. As you know, the school systems, we have picked the best people to be SROs in the city of DeKalb in District 428. They have done an amazing job. I constantly see the issues that they deal with at the schools, a little bit different than what we deal with in mainframe policing, but they do an amazing job along with our CSOs. I can tell you, I don't know how many times I hear car and keys, the keys are locked in the car, and these guys and girls respond and help out people get in their cars. So they do it a lot. I know they write some parking tickets. People are probably not happy about that, but that is, they do a great job there as well, despite no one wants to walk out and have a parking ticket on their window. So I understand that, but they're doing their job. I want to talk a little bit more about community support service, what our dispatch center. Fantastic work by them. They handle so many calls that come in every day, 911 calls. They've had the opportunity to assist our citizens, not just with getting police help or fire department help, but they've also helped in doing CPR. They've guided people, and they've been a part of this life-saving progression from the beginning, because it starts with them. They get a call, they walk them through CPR. And a lot of times it's tough for them because they don't get to see the outcomes. They know they thought they helped, they started it, but then, they don't get to see the outcomes. So it's tough for them, but they do an amazing job. So they are definitely the beginning of the first responder response. And I want to thank them personally for that. Our administrative service division. So this is our civilian personnel at the DeKalb Police Department. If you look at the page, there are, 1,700 FOIAs, 107 subpoenas, 1,200 body camera video requests. They do a lot of work, and they are in attendance today as well, and I want to thank them for doing the job that they do. Administrative Service Division, we have some part-time prior police officers working in this division who handle our evidence. A lot of evidence coming through the DeKalb Police Department. I want to thank them as well. They do an amazing job. They already served as a police officer, and they continue to serve for the DeKalb Police Department in the city of DeKalb, and they should be commended for that. Community Support Services, one of the things that we've changed just recently is social workers. Social workers in the city of DeKalb at the DeKalb Police Department have made an amazing impact. They have handled so many referrals, especially right now when mental health is so prevalent in what we do in policing. We have experts who can go to calls with us and assist us in handling these situations. So if it's not really truly a police matter, we would like to back out and let the social workers handle it. We do a lot of co-responding, which is great. And when they, as long as we know it's a safe environment for them, we're going to back out and we're going to let the social workers handle it. They should be handling these calls. So we're going to take that opportunity whenever we can to remove ourselves and let the experts handle this. But they have done an amazing job. You can look at their numbers on the page as well. A lot of outreach, a lot of referrals. They're an amazing team. I cannot tell you the impact that they are having on the city of DeKalb. I get calls from other police departments inquiring, hey, how did you start the social worker program? What's it look like? Is it effective? And I've been able to tell them, yes, if you haven't, been able to change social workers and get them involved in your police department, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And so at this point with us, we look forward to even adding to this program because it is fantastic, and I think all our officers here would attest to that. So I know we talked a little bit about the automated license plate readers and public safety cameras. So we had some really good cases where the LPRs were able to assist us. This one case, the LPR camera was used to identify a suspected vehicle leaving a retail theft, leading to felony charges against 3 different offenders from Rock Falls area, from 2 different stores. This ultimately led to the solving of 2 other felony retail thefts in Oswego and Rockford. Another case, LPR cameras were used to obtain a plate after theft at Aldi, leading to identification of a rental car driver and the arrest of 1 suspect on a felony and 1 on a city ordinance. And we already talked about the camera footage from the Husky bus. So impactful in bringing those offenders from the Illinois Community Credit Union bank robbery into custody. And I will tell you, I went over there and spoke with them personally. They could not be more appreciative of what the DeKalb Police Department did that day. That was, you talking about having a situation where 2 young ladies who got charged at the door with a man with a gun, and it was just horrifying for them, as you can imagine. But the fact that they knew that the DeKalb Police Department were able to track them down and make those arrests, they felt more safer now than ever. That at least they know that if someone commits a crime like this in the city of DeKalb, that the DeKalb Police Department is going to hold them accountable in the end. So they thought they got away with it, but they did not. So we talk about building the Unity Bridge of DeKalb. I expressed that last year, and everything that we do in the community, that's what we're trying to do. And we're doing a great job. As you can see, Officer Steve is ready. She's ready for Corn Classic. And it's a great photo of her, but it just gives you an indication of the impact that we are making with the community. These are several other pictures as well with the same posture that we are going to build that Unity Bridge with DeKalb, spending time with police tours and spending time with our youth. Our officers are always involved. Same thing here. We're doing, Fun Jam in the Park has been a complete success. We look forward to doing it again this year. I've already had a meeting with Opportunity DeKalb and Break Room and Friends and Black Ink. We are ready to get Fun Jam in the park. As soon as the kids get out for school for the summer, we'll be ready to roll with that. Same thing with our Citizens Appreciation Awards. We continue to want to commend our citizens for assisting us. We can only do so much as a law enforcement agency. We have citizens who assist us on a regular basis. They give us eyes where we don't have eyes. They see things that we don't see, and I appreciate them. And when they do these acts, and some of them are courageous, some of them are just information, driven, but we want to make sure that we commend them. So we will continue that as well. Special events, as you can see, Heroes and Helpers around Christmas time, pay it forward. We've done this every year. We give away thousands of dollars of money. Some of it's collected just from our friends and family to make an impact on the city of DeKalb. We'll continue to do that. And then lastly, there's the events calendar. As you can see, with all the events that we have coming up for the year. And it's just been, like I said, as you can look at the list, we have a lot that's community-driven that we believe is important to actually just for public safety as well. Because at the end of the day, we want people to understand that they can come to the police and that we are here to protect them and serve them. In conclusion, some of the things that you might have saw in my message, I do want to go over. DeKalb, to ensure that we provide a secure and safe environment for citizens to live in, we want to ensure that we win the day. And that's what we've been doing. That is my motto. I believe in that. As I've said before, the United States has been infected with a lawless culture that has spread it and touched numerous cities and towns. DeKalb has been touched by this lawlessness. The DeKalb Police Department is vested in providing a lawful community for residents to live in. Providing a lawful community is a challenge that the DeKalb Police Department is eager to champion. And every member of the DeKalb Police Department has assented to working diligently and extensively until the goal is met. Finally, I have routinely expressed this statement. The key to a safer DeKalb is the continued teamwork between the police department and the community. We can attest that this formula has been extremely effective. Although we made considerable progress, there is so much left to do as we construct the foundation of a lawful community. We have the crime antidote in hand. Don't let crime win. Thank you from the DeKalb Police Department. And any questions?
City Council, any questions for the chief while he's up here? Alderwoman Larson, no?
No questions, but.
Or comments.
Comments. It's like, thank you doesn't seem nearly enough, but thank you for keeping us all safe.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And on behalf of the DeKalb Police Department, like I said, I want to thank you for giving us the resources. And of course, I want to thank the DeKalb Police Department. They are, before I got here in 2021, I knew I was coming to an amazing police department. And they did not make a fool out of me because they have done everything that I could ever ask for. They work extremely hard, and that's why I wanted them to be in the room today, because I wanted to make sure that they are commended for the hard work that they do every day. This is a tough job. This is the toughest job in the world, is being a police officer. I guarantee you that. We go through a lot of trials and tribulations. Sometimes people don't like us because we have to hold people accountable. And I understand that. They understand that. They know they're not always going to be considered the good guys, but they are the good guys. That's the misnomer. They are the good guys. Whenever you need assistance, you call the DeKalb Police Department, we come running every time. We showed that last year. And in all the years prior to that. It's not the first time. This is a consistent theme for the DeKalb Police Department. But last year it was totally apparent that any time that we were called to serve and to protect, that we showed up for that day. And these guys and girls behind me and our civilian personnel, our telecommunicators, it's all because of them that we have the safe community that we have today. So I want to give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Thank you, sir.
Well, real quick, Chief.
Yep.
I look forward to this every single year because there's a large investment, and I'm not talking financial investment even
Sure.
though it's there, but a large investment in making sure that you all have everything that you need. And I know this council has done a great job making sure that the funds are there, the people are there in order to keep our community safe. I love when you come up, it's usually just the facts, ma'am. I love that you highlighted 0 homicides in 2024 because you're right, that is the #1 stat out there. But there's also so many that when I look at this and I see in Zone 1 the amount of calls. So we went from 27,495 calls in 2022 to 21,736. That is our most densely populated area of our community. And that means those calls, we had 7,000 less calls for help in that area. And I know that's because of the work each and every one of you are doing to have a presence, like you said, that if you're going to commit a crime in the city, we have a reputation and we're getting a better reputation for it. We're going to find you and we're going to hold you accountable to that.
Great.
And conversely, in the other zones, it's gone up. And that is because finally, you all have the time to patrol the whole city. And I've heard that over and over again, where are the police in my neighborhood? And we're starting to see that. And the number of adult arrests, same thing, going down in Zone 1, but going up in the other zones. I think that's just phenomenal. And I wanted to call out the number of warnings issued. I think it was 2,000 more than last year. Again, that shows you all lighting people up that are doing these traffic violations, but you're not bringing down the heavy hammer. You're letting them know, like, hey, I saw you, pulled you over, I'll let you go this time, but next time, maybe not. And that's another reputation I'm looking forward to us having is this is not a place where you speed in our community and you speed through our school zones and you blow off our stop signs and our traffic lights. So I'm incredibly proud to see this year's report and all the hard work you've been doing, but then also the way you highlight your involvement in the community. That's real policing. Being out there, being out of the car, being around the people that you're there to protect, letting them get to know all of you and letting them get to know you're real people. You're community residents yourselves. You're out there working with them and working for them. So I can't say enough how proud I am of all of you. And I can't say it enough too, of just keep up the good work. I know it's hard, like the chief said. I can't imagine being in your job. Alderman Smith was in your job for a long time. I can't even fathom what it's like. I know it's hard work, but it should be rewarding. You should put your head on your pillow every single solitary night and be proud of the work you did and the people that you served. So with that, if you all don't mind, I know we would love to do a group shot that the chief can keep and pass out in a way of just expressing our thanks for all the work that you all do. So
This will
come
be
on,
interesting. We'll see you try to sneak out of this one.
Yeah, no one's getting out. No one's getting out.
All
Councilman,
right, let's come on down, guys and girls. Thank you, sir.
on this side, so come on over to this side. Scott, where's Scott? How deep do you want us? Somebody hold your hands when you stand on the chair. There you are, all right.
Chase. Oh, you gonna come? Look at Chase. Good boy.
Everybody here, nobody blank when left the start. We'll do three, and 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You got it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Cap. Thanks, folks.
Nice.
I know you know. Where did I go? Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
All right. That is just a wonderful way to start a meeting. Now I'm going to move on to a proclamation about our very own Crime Stoppers, bank robber stoppers themselves. And we're going to celebrate National Transit Employee Appreciation Day, which is March 18, 2025. So I'll read, National Transit Employee Appreciation Day was established in 2009 to recognize the efforts of transit workers across the United States. And public transit is a necessity for our community. And the City of DeKalb Public Transit operates as a partnership between the City of DeKalb, the City of Sycamore, Town of Portland, and Northern Illinois University, providing 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week transit service to help our communities and the university meet our transportation, sustainability, and equity goals. And transit employees work hard each day to help transit users access jobs, healthcare, school, community services, and many other personal, social, and civic opportunities. And transit employees start their days before the sun rises and finish them long after the sun is set, including working weekends and on or around holidays, while many of us are spending time with family and friends. And in addition to meeting stringent safety requirements, transit employees must demonstrate customer service, patience, empathy, and understanding to create a welcoming and inclusive environment for community members and visitors. And communities across the United States observe National Transit Employee Appreciation Day each year on March 18th to recognize transit operators' dedication, hard work, and the essential services they provide. Now therefore, I, Cohen Barnes, Mayor of the City of DeKalb, Illinois, do hereby encourage all citizens to recognize not only our local transit employees, but those nationwide, not only on March 18th, but year-round for their contributions. Can I get a round of applause for these wonderful people? Mike, if you don't mind bringing your team up, love to get a photo shot with you guys.
You always smile.
Yeah, last year, he's, yeah. Come on over here. There we go. I guess I'll hold on to that. There we go. We get a little bigger than that. There we go. All right, right here, 3, 2.
All right. Moving on now to agenda item D, public participation, we have none. Agenda item F, appointments, none. And then consent agenda, number 1, minutes of the regular city council meeting of February 24th, 2025. Number 2, accounts payable and payroll through March 10th, 2025 in the amount of $3,043,786.25. 3, investment and bank balance summary through January 2025. 4, year-to-date revenues and expenditures through January 2025. And 5, crime-free housing bureau report, February 2025. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as is?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Perkins, seconded by Alderman Verbeek. Any comments or questions, council? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 aye.
Excellent. The consent agenda has passed. Moving on to H, public hearings, we have none. I, considerations, we have none. J, resolutions. Number one, Resolution 2025-025, authorizing the purchase of 2 Ford F-250 pickups through Morrow Brothers Ford in an amount not to exceed $137,399 for use in the Public Works Water Division Fund 620. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Powell. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The particular purchases, as the mayor read out, pertain to 2 pickup trucks that will be replaced in the Water Division. The 2006 and 2008 pickup trucks in the Water Division are going to be replaced, are going to be then transferred over to the Street Department, where they'll still be used for different types of maintenance, of maintenance activities, including minor maintenance and parking lot plowing and the like. So it's our effort to, and I want to thank the Public Works Director, Andy Rye, who could not be here tonight, but would agree that we are doing the best with the funds we have and trying to be prudent with the use of some of the vehicles that are being repurposed. So recommend your approval.
Council, questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 aye.
Resolution 2025-025 passes. Number two, Resolution 2025-026, authorizing the purchase of Genesis E-Force battery-operated extrication equipment from Equipment Management Company in an amount not to exceed $54,320 using Ground Emergency Medical Transportation, GEMT funding, Fund 1340. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Larson, seconded by Alderman Verbic. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. We've been in transition in recent years toward these battery-powered types of extrication equipment that work really well, and our shifts, our fire shifts, believe that they exceed anything we've ever had before. Right now, we have 3 different sets that are out in use on our apparatus. The particular purchase here is to outfit the King Cobra Tower tank, listen to me, truck. Where I got the tank out of that.
That's big.
It is big, but I was thinking about the tank on it. But I guess, but anyway, this is essential equipment. We want all of our arriving crews to have the same ability to quickly extricate, if necessary, those residents that are in harm's way. So, thank you.
Council, questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 aye.
Resolution 2025-026 passes. Number three, Resolution 2025-027, authorizing payments to municipal emergency services for 3 self-contained breathing apparatus units in an amount not to exceed $26,100 using Ground Emergency Medical Transport Funding, GEMT, Fund 130. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Perkins, seconded by Alderman Smith. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The Scott brand is in use in all other respects, and we're looking for the purchase of the units that we need to, again, outfit the new truck. And that truck, since I've dropped that twice now, is within a few months of arriving here and being put into service.
Council, questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 aye.
Resolution 2025-027 passes. Number four, Resolution 2025-028, authorizing the I gotta put my glasses back on, SFY 2026 Downstate Operating Assistance Agreement between the City of DeKalb and the Illinois Department of Transportation. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Verbic, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so that SFY, the state fiscal year, is different than ours, and so we go through this every year, and it's important because the Downstate Operating Assistance Program provides the lion's share of the funding that we need to keep our transit system, which we've been talking about here tonight, in service to the community. And this resolution also identifies our transit manager, Mike Neuenkirchen, who is up front for the picture and is sitting in back now, to be the executor for grant agreements and documentation that comes through that department. Just by way of background, but not because we're debating the budget for the transit division, but I put some pretty impressive numbers in your background which show, as in this case, that the 26 funding from the state is going to exceed $8 million. So it's very important to our operation.
Council, questions or comments? Yes, Alderman Smith.
One thing, Bill, I think it's important, 20% increase.
Yep.
I think both the city and the county got the same
And,
increase, which is unheard of.
As far as we know.
Yes, yeah, agree there. And my usual is, there are no city funds involved in this. That seems to be brought up over and over again.
The only thing that comes up is that there are some fares paid by city residents, but not from the city government in terms of general operating revenue.
Correct. Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Any others? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Resolution 2025-028 passes. Number 5, Resolution 2025-029, authorizing the transit manager to act as the authorized official to submit grants and sign certifications and assurances on behalf of the City of DeKalb for the Federal Transit Administration F5307 Transit Grant. Can I have a motion to bring this to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. Certifications, is that what I said?
Yeah.
Keep going.
So, once again, the transit manager is in the best position to review the grant information, whether it's the agreements, final certifications, and assurances that every year are a part of the operation of a pretty ambitious system as we have. And while I'm accountable for ultimately what you direct the funding to accomplish, I would be fooling you and everyone else if I said that I had the time to do all of that. So Transit Manager Neuenkirchen is the right person to be doing that. And if we don't do this, then all that just comes to me, then I have to try to figure it out and give it to him. So this cuts down on the middle person, if you don't mind.
Council, questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Resolution 2025-029 passes. Now, agenda item K, ordinances, second reading, we have none. Then agenda item L, ordinances, first reading. Number 1, ordinance 2025-011, publishing the official zoning map of the city of DeKalb. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Verbic, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. City Manager.
We're required by state code to do what's on your agenda tonight. That we publish an official zoning map that reflects the changes that have been reviewed and approved by the council. In many cases, also initially the Planning and Zoning Commission in the previous year, which would be 2024 in this case. As you look down that list, you can see the work that you did. You had another busy year. A couple of notable annexations and rezonings, the Golden Farm, which is where Karis has announced their interest in building a data center, and more acquisitions up on Peace Road, just north of the intersection with Fairview Drive. So, and everything on here was important to either the immediate property owner or someone who's some entity that's looking to invest in our community.
Council, questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Ordinance 2025-011 passes on first reading. I take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Alderman Perkins, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. Any comments or questions on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Second reading has been waived for ordinance 2025-011. Moving on to number 2, ordinance 2025-012, amending Chapter 23, Unified Development Ordinance, Article 3, Definitions, Article 7.04, Accessory Uses, Buildings and Structure, and Article 12.07, Supplemental Off-Street Parking and Loading Regulations as it pertains to text amendments for electric vehicle charging stations. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Verbic, seconded by Alderman Powell. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. It was about 9 months ago that our Environmental Commission recommended a sustainability plan to you. We had discussion about that at 2 meetings, and in June, the council approved the first revision to our sustainability plan in many years. And one of the things that the commission recommended and the council reviewed and approved in that time period was to come up with sort of a scorecard for how we are taking steps to accomplish certain things in behalf of all of us and our environment. And one of those things was to join the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus that we aligned with the Greenest Region Compact, which speaks for most all of the communities east of 47, and we might be the first one west of 47. Is that right, Scott? And Rockford, yeah, which is west to northwest. So, that's part of our commitment. One of the things that we wanted to do this year was to join what's called the Electric Vehicle Readiness Program, so that we take some steps. It's for us to define what those steps are to accommodate those persons with electric vehicles. And we noticed that our Unified Development Ordinance never anticipated such an activity. So we need to go back, and that's what this is. We're amending that UDO and in certain provisions to allow for electric vehicle charging stations in all of the zoning districts in the city of DeKalb. I think that's important, and the commission did too, and we hope you do as well.
Council, questions, comments? All right, excellent step forward. Roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Ordinance 2025-012 passes on first reading. I take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith. You look like you're going to say something, City Manager?
I was just going to, well, wait till you do
Okay.
the vote, and then I'll say
So,
something.
we have a motion by Alderman Smith and a second by Alderwoman Larson. Comments?
I neglected to thank Scott Zach, who not only takes pictures, but does a lot of other things.
He does.
And one of those things, a very important thing for our organization and community, is that he's our liaison to the Environmental Commission. So thank you for bringing this forward.
Thanks, Scott. And then kudos to Alderwoman Larson, who's our council liaison to the
Yes.
Environmental Commission as well. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Second reading has been waived for ordinance 2025-012. Moving on to number 3, ordinance 2025-013, amending chapter 64, smoking regulations, section 64.16, tobacco smoking sales, use and licensing, subsection F, retail tobacco store license as it pertains to limiting the number of retail tobacco stores in the city of DeKalb to 4. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Alderman Walker, seconded by Alderman Verbic. City Manager.
There used to be a marketing initiative for a certain kind of smoking material, and the phrase was, "It's tough to put a Muriel down." Well, what's before you tonight? I'm sorry, double made me do it. What's before you tonight is a step down from 5 to 4 in the authorized number of retail tobacco stores. Not just the general sale of tobacco, which happens at any number of places, and usually behind the checkout lane and so forth. That's a separate thing. But retail tobacco stores are primarily in business to sell tobacco. There are other things that are sold. But there's actually a minimum of 30% of the gross revenue that has to each year come from the sale of tobacco or nicotine products and accessories. And more than 25% of the total floor area has to be dedicated to the storage and sale of such items. It's been the council's view over the last year and a half, that as retail tobacco stores go out of business, that we ought to look at reducing that number. So that's what this does. It reduces it from, the allowable number was 5. This changes the code to go down to 4.
Council, questions, comments? Alderman Walker.
Hey, I appreciate the hard work with this, because you know I've been on you pretty hard, and you know how I can be, so I just want you to know I appreciate it.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbeck,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 ayes.
Ordinance 2025-013 passes on first reading. Again, I take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Larson, seconded by Alderman Walker. Comments or questions on that, council? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbeck,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 ayes.
Second reading has been waived for ordinance 2025-013. Moving on to number 4, ordinance 2025-014, amending Chapter 50, Citizens Environmental Commission by renaming Section 50.07, Pride Awards to DeKalb Star, Sustainability Through Action, Resiliency, and Responsibility Award. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Alderwoman Larson, seconded by Alderman Powell. City Manager.
From the earliest days of the Community Environmental Commission, the commission has been trying to encourage our residents to nominate individuals, businesses, organizations for their impact in one or more of certain focus areas. We have a sustainability plan now, and the commission thought it might be a good time to reinvigorate that award process, and part of that is to change the name from PRIDE, which stood for People Responsible for Improving the DeKalb Environment, to STAR, Sustainability Through Action, Resiliency, and Responsibility. And so this otherwise fairly minor change to the city code is important, not just to the commission, but it will garner some attention and show people what the new focus is of this commission and the sustainability program. Recommend your approval.
Council, questions or comments? Yes, Alderwoman Larson.
Yeah, and I know when we have at the meetings, there was some confusion by other people in the community, like it's a Pride Award, but it's for environment, and there was some confusion in that. So we thought this was a lot clearer as to its environmental and what its goals were. So that was part of the change.
Excellent. I just got to make a comment. I'm proud when we redid our building for my company, Downtown DeKalb, we were the recipient of a Pride Award because of all the energy efficient HVAC systems and other measures that we took, which was really cool. So great award, really glad the Environmental Commission keeps on recognizing people in the community that do such efforts. Roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbeck,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 ayes.
Ordinance 2025-014 passes on first reading. I take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Larson, seconded by Alderman Smith. Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Perkins,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbeck,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Second reading has been waived for ordinance 2025-014. Moves us on to agenda item M, council member reports. Alderman Smith, you want to kick us off?
With the warm weather, everybody seems to be more active, especially driving. I think Chief probably heard a lot of that already, so please be careful. Our kids are still in school and walking, and just slow down.
Good point. Alderman Powell?
No report.
Alderman Walker?
Yes, I do have a small report. So I had the luxury of, I like talking when we're all on the same team, and Mayor Barnes, I know you'll support me on this one. So I had the luxury of sitting down with some of the fire victims with the fire that happened on Hillcrest Drive. There's a rumor in the city, or in that area that, well, let me scale it back a little bit. So this lady asked me, why aren't I supporting, them getting back in their apartments? And I was like, because she remembers we were there. And I was like, well, ma'am, from everything that I know, everything is running smoothly. She said, no, it's not. So I said, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. So somehow, some way, she entered me in on a group text because I wanted to hear exactly what was going on without them knowing that there was an alderman on there. So to make a long story short, and we remember that night, in November, you guys, this was November. So we remember that night, and to make a long story short, so I guess there's a disconnection from what's really going on and what's happening. She told me that the terraces are always saying that it's the city's fault why they can't get in. They're saying every time that they do something, which I know what the truth is, but every time that the city does something, or they do something, the city comes back and says it's not enough. And it's just always this, that, and the third going on. So I told her, well, I don't think that's to be truthful, because I talked to the city manager and the assistant city manager, and the things that need to be cleared up should have been done in a day, or maybe a day or two or a week. So I guess the confusion is for me, because first of all, the night we were there, their integrity, and this is the terrorists that I'm talking about, their integrity was second to the lowest. It was the scummiest thing that I've ever seen, because I've seen a lot of kids losing their toys. I've seen a lot of parents just lost, not knowing what to do. I saw two men, Mayor Barnes, City Manager Nicholas, and myself step up to the plate and was arranging things on how things are supposed to go. Okay, so these people didn't have anywhere to go, nowhere to go, no money, lost, not a clue in the world. The terrorists' management group, they came there. Right when they got there, they started lying, talking about they called this apartment or this hotel, that hotel. Nobody has, any availability. It's Sunday in DeKalb, no availability. So thank goodness I called Vicky Torres. She said, bring them over here. We're going to get it done. Vicky did that. So, we're trying to figure out what's going on. There's just one lie after another lie from the terrorists. I'm getting real irritated by this point. City manager, calm me down, go in the car, let me figure this out. Mayor Barnes talking to everybody in the cars and telling them what's going on. So I'm painting a picture for you. That's what went on then. So this, like I said, this lady, talks to me, and she was like, well, listen, Alderman Walker, I live in Aurora. A few other people live in Rockford, and we have to commute every day because, they have like a 20-day stay somewhere where they stay there for 20 days and pay the rent as they go or whatever, but they're not getting answers about what's going on with their apartment with the terraces. And I guess my problem is this. The empathy and the sympathy of some people, because we just got done with, Hunter Star or whatever. And now we have another one doing the same exact thing to, the same community. And I just don't understand why people just can't take care of their responsibilities when people are in need. So the whole point for me bringing this up is not about a damn election or anything like that. I want you guys to explain exactly what's going on and clear the name of the city, because I know that you guys have been doing a hell of a job trying to get them back in their home. So I'd like to turn it over to you, city manager or assistant city manager.
I'll do, may I, Mayor? I'll just start, and then I'll let Bob Riddell, the Assistant
Yes,
City
sir.
Manager, who's working through our crime-free program and also been leading the building department in connections not only with the former residents, but also in trying to move this along, as you've been describing. So just two things I want to say. One is, I remember that night very vividly, and I appreciate your intervention and the mayor's intervention that night, and that of a lot of other people. Some are present here, and a lot of community people, agencies, the township, and the I want to say the Methodist. It's not the Methodist Church.
West Manuel, no.
Westminster.
Westminster.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Church, and right when people needed it the most. But that was 4 months ago. So in that time, I can say without reservation, the email stream is rich with urging everything within the law that we can do to press for the ability of the residents to move back in, at least to 9:30 and 9:34, right? Correct, Bob?
Yes.
And 10:24 is gone now, as everybody knows, and we took that down, and we had to press very hard to make that happen, and we finally got that done. But I can tell you, you're correct in saying that from the very beginning, and I've been in a number of community meetings to try to clear the air, from the very beginning, we've been hearing from the ownership and management of that particular organization that we are not holding up our end. I would say at this point that it's just a matter of days away once they commit their resources toward doing a number of things, and Bob's going to identify what those are. But one is to just restore the sprinkler system in the basement, because the basement in that three-building complex, which is now a two-building complex, is wide open. It just telegraphs from one end to the other, so that makes it unsafe. There aren't fire stops and so forth. So that was sprinkled a long time ago, but it's been damaged. It just needs to be upgraded. That means paying money to have a subcontractor come in and do it. And then there are other life safety things that need to be done. We're not asking them to tear it down and build it up again. We're just saying you need exit signs, you need emergency signs, you need to clean up the mess, which still is there from the November fire. So Bob can address this in more detail because he's been tasked with the job of coordinating the city's response to this. Bob.
It was, we're talking about the one on December 22nd, right?
Right.
December
Yeah,
22nd.
okay, all right.
Sorry.
No, it was winter, yeah, I just want to make sure we were all on
It
the
was
same
winter,
page,
yeah.
yes.
But in short, the city has not and will not slow the progress. We will hold them accountable, we'll make sure that it's being done correctly, but the work is not completed. They have not asked us to come there. They have not asked us to look at any of the stuff that's been done. So we, as the city, has reached out to them saying, hey, why aren't you open yet? And I don't want to get a phone call, on Friday thinking that you're going to open on Monday and we haven't even walked in yet. So last week we set up a meeting, we walked through, none of the fire life safety stuff was completed. We then set up another meeting a week later, so actually that was 2 weeks ago, with one of their head architects or developers that's going to do the repairs there, and again, the work was not done. So in simple work, they need to fix their fire doors, they need to fix the lights, they need to fix the alarms. That is not hard work to do. That could be done with a contractor within a day, but let's even say a week. Once that's done, we'll go through, we'll stop everything we're doing. And they want to get 9:30 open as soon as they can. 9:34, they're questioning themselves whether or not they're going to open that building. But 9:30 is the one we're pushing for, and there is no delay by the city. We are doing everything we can, but we will hold them accountable to make sure that fire life safety is done correct before we'll let anybody move back in.
Okay, I appreciate it too. So, and I'm sorry, Mayor, sorry, Alderman Lady Larson, I know you get mad when I talk a lot. So, in this same group text, I also found out that over at 1100, across from CVS with the terrace, I found out that they didn't have heat for 3 months and they all got those space heaters. So I guess I don't know if that's to be true, but this is what they said. So I guess I just don't understand. Like, I don't want to harass anybody. Don't get me wrong, but it's like we have to treat them like kids now. Like I mean, I'm not saying harass them, but we have to treat them like kids, like, just to see, you know, are they up to codes with everything else at this point, right?
Yeah, and we've, 1,100, and you may recall that within just weeks of the fire, we were over there to address that very question, because the last boiler, and there were several boilers there that had been operating and required to operate, had given out, and that led to some more freezing in the building, and particularly in the in lower areas and in the basement, and that led to the failure of the last elevator that would take people up to the 6th floor. And so we evacuated the building. We put people up again in the Red Roof Inn, and again, thanks to their generous response to find rooms for everybody who needed them. And within a day or two, both the heating and then there were pipes burst, so there was water damage in the basement. All that was cleaned up, but we had to be the force to make that happen. And I think you understand that. And we don't respond to every social media
Right.
comment or opinion. We try to let our actions speak for themselves. In this case, maybe we're not keeping up with the conversation, I guess you would say. So thank you for bringing this up and giving us an opportunity to address it. I will say that we also have the ability to fine and cite the violations of certain property maintenance violations, and we do that, and we have done that in both cases. And there's a separate process for that. It's a legal process that takes them through the administrative hearing process. So that's going on as well.
Well, I appreciate that, fellas. It's just, it's getting, you know, it's getting irritating now for me. It's getting real irritating, but thank you.
Alderman Perkins?
So these are the folks that we gave assistance to that we're gonna clean this up, right?
$1 million.
$1 million. So is it worth having them come down and give us an update on how this stuff is progressing?
Absolutely. I'm anticipating no show at this point, but I think we need to have a further conversation about this and figure out what the next steps are to aggressively go after this particular landlord.
Appreciate that.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm just going to let the city attorney, maybe, if it's okay with you, Mayor, just to respond as well. This isn't something we take lightly at the staff level.
Definitely not.
It's something we talk about. It's an everyday, it's an abiding concern. And so we throw every weapon we have, which are legal and moral suasion. And the trouble with moral suasion is if the morals are not up to par, then it's not very effective. So.
Yeah, I do want to say that the assistance was to the Ridgebrook unit, so that is separate from the units that we've been talking about. But on our behalf, we've and you know there's been a very aggressive property maintenance response. Now all that is as you heard is very similar to police. It's in response to an incident that has occurred, like the fire at Trifrat or the failure of the boiler at the Lincoln Tower. So, and the laws, on our end is prosecuting is inherently reactive, but the idea is to like we do for all things is to compel the compliance with our property maintenance codes, and to deter future violations, hopefully. And we have a number of cases that are pending currently against the terraces, and they are being prosecuted zealously, is what I can tell you.
Love that word.
Yeah.
Alderman Herbert?
So are they out of money, or is this negligence? What are we
No,
talking about?
I think it. I mean, I think that they have a business model that is unfortunately is not in investing in their building, right? In their buildings, and they may have I think when they made a huge purchase, as everybody knows, a couple of years ago, and I don't think that they had enough money to staff and to maintain the buildings once they had that, and I think that they were intending to not possess the assets as long as that they've had, right? And they have to understand that they need to not only comply with our codes, but if they wanted to ever market their assets and get a return on them, that they need to invest in them, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that they were, let's say, like the previous landlord. I think they started off, I mean, at a very accelerated pace, trying to clean up the apartments. They invested a lot of money in roofs and apartments and all that. It's probably maybe a bit off more than they could chew, but we don't know that answer. We're just speculating here at this point.
Very true.
Did you have another question?
So with these properties being listed for sale, what can we do to be involved so that it's just not sold to another one that exhibits the same behavior? I mean, we were all optimistic when these folks came aboard. How could it get any worse, right? So what can we do to get involved, if anything, with now the Terraces having a number of properties, I believe, for sale? Number one, how can we make sure that they are in a condition that they should be sold, right? I mean, again, if that's more of a proactive inspection effort on our part, what can be done to prevent this from happening again?
That's the $64 question, right? We've been here and we've succeeded in some cases and not succeeded in others. And so we operate within the law. The law is the playbook for how we're supposed to proceed. We can bring, based on the law, actions in the administrative hearing process or in the court, which lay a price on a failure to comply. Sometimes that's not enough, because sometimes, and we have seen this in our fairly recent past, in the last 5 to 6 years, with others as well, where it's catch me if you can on the other side of the argument. And we eventually do, but that costs us more money, and then there's negotiation in these various legal processes and so forth. And we don't muscle people into doing things. That would be beyond the law. So while we're acting with force and responsiveness, and I can tell you there isn't a day that goes by. If somebody calls in a complaint, we're just like the police department. They call into 911. They call into our building department for the most part. And sometimes it's to the city manager's office, and I say, well, we'll connect you with. And then we send inspectors out, and we write that up, and you can ask an inspector anytime you want, what about this property? What do you have on this? And we're happy to share that with you. And then the other part of it is not just a site, but then to give a time for compliance, and then to aggressively press for that compliance. But if you don't have cooperation on the other side, about what's left is what's happening here tonight. You shine a light on it, and you let other people, let the community begin to speak, which begins to hit the offenders in the pocketbook. And we don't get to organize that, or the courts would quickly tell us as a body, as an entity, as an enforcer of the law, that we've gone beyond. But the court of public opinion can be very strong and helpful sometimes.
Hey, I agree with you 100%, but, and you guys know the law better than I do, but when is it right that they get to bully people and not do what they're supposed to do, while, innocent people are struggling to even live, like their lives have been in disarray for almost what we've been through, Christmas, New Year's, but like, I guess when I'm old school. I'm the guy that, hey, if you want to blow up the town, then we're going to get the police and you're going to go in the back room with them. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, how come we can't lean more on them, or, you know, legally, like?
Well,
Mr.
John,
Rhodes?
you're on the, or Alderman Walker, I'm sorry, you're
No, it's
on the
fine.
text
I like
message.
that better.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah, I would encourage them and you to have them seek out the assistance of private legal counsel through the paralegal service, for example, that represents tenants, and they all have contracts that speak, or they should, right under our laws, right? They have a written contract that should speak to some of the relief that these tenants need in the situation that has occurred for them, and you know, that's yeah, sorry, that's their best remedy, and we'll continue to do what we can on our end to vindicate compliance with our property maintenance codes.
How about you said we got some pending litigation out there, which I'm sure is not going to be resolved anytime soon, but Bob, you were talking about if they get up to the snuff on the fire safety codes, that they could open back up, which could, if they started now, happen maybe within a week. Maybe this is a consideration we would just have a little discussion on, bringing council up to date on where exactly are we at, rather than this informal discussion, give you guys a little time to prep so we understand what the situation is with, I don't remember how many units that is, but it's I think all three properties is 403 units. It's a lot. Just so we have a clear understanding of what's actually transpiring out there. We can help communicate the word, like you just said, City Attorney, to some of the residents. But then also maybe an education on, is there anything more that we can be doing?
Love it.
We've done it before. We did it with the predecessor to this
Yep.
particular entity, so
Right.
we can do it again.
Okay.
And it's sad to think, isn't it, that we are doing it again, but I think vigilance and relentlessness is important for us here in the public arena to do. So we'll do that. I don't know if we can pull it together in the next 2 weeks, but we'll do it.
It's fine. Yep.
In the meantime, we're trying to keep pressing on what the alderman said we ought to be attending to, so we're doing that
And
too.
we used to have weekly meetings with terraces for a long time, trying to hold their feet to the fire on it.
We have what I'm saying is, this is almost like a grad student project. We have file cabinets full
Yeah.
of paper and lots of digital files on these units in total and then individually. And so if you want a full report, we'll want to sift and make it more pointed so the public and so we can all digest it.
Yeah. Yeah, so when, it doesn't have to be next council meeting.
We'll bring it
Somewhere in the
forward.
near future, it'd be great to get up
Okay.
to speed on that, yeah.
City
Okay.
Manager, if I could just interject here.
Yep.
It's very important, if somebody has a complaint, to call the building department, because if we don't know about it,
Yeah.
the word starts going around and there's nothing we can do. The more documentation we have, the more places we get into, the more we can do.
Great point. Yep.
And one last thing.
Yes.
It's always this way. When the building department goes, we have to, by law, give a certain period of time for the alleged offender to make the repairs,
Right.
in this case. It's not to stop driving through a stop sign. It's going to take longer to repair and so forth. So it might be 15 days. And then we go back for a reinspection, and let's say it's not done at all. We can go then to a fine, but then it takes another period of time before there's been demonstrated a failure to pay the fine and to remedy the problem before it can get to the administrative hearing, Judge. There is no way around that. That's what it is. So if I'm a resident, I don't know this, I don't know the workings of city government, and I'm thinking, I talked to him yesterday. Why, it's still, glass is still cracked, there's still water coming out of the side of the wall. Why isn't there something going on? And so it's a frustration for us, I can tell you, and we press in every way, and you'll see with the compilation we'll give you that it's
Okay.
true.
Thank you. Anything else on that?
No, sir, thank you.
All right. Alderman Burbick.
No report.
Alderman Perkins.
I'd like to congratulate DeKalb's middle school wrestlers on their second place finish in state this past weekend. They've done an excellent job. I think they were trying to defend their state title last year, but second place isn't so bad either.
Not at all.
So congrats.
Alderwoman Larson.
I don't ever go on social media, but talking to different people in the last few days, there's something out there that the proposed, and it's proposed roundabout on North First Street, is taking up Elwood's front lawn. And that is false. So I don't know anything more than that, but I had 5 different people say that is an outrage to do that to a historic building and take their front lawn. And I just want to put that to rest.
Thank you. For me, I'll be really quick. I got to introduce all the wrestlers and all the parents that were there for the IESA. It's just a great group, and I think there's thousands. Actually, Mr. Hoy, how many people come to attend? There you go, 6,000 people come to our community to watch that, which is just fantastic. I know Fatty's was packed on, I think it was Saturday night when I was there. I also wanted to make a comment. I went and visited Elias Ramos and at his place of business, and Tracy Smith knows him very well and has had multiple conversations with him. A lot of business people in our Mexicano and Latino community received, I'd call it maybe a hate letter, not threatening, but some hate speech about, immigration status and all this, and go home, and so we scanned all those, gave them to the chief. We've met with them. I know Tracy Smith, Alderman Smith, has been there and talked with them multiple times. I know the chief has been to visit them as well. Just want to say for the record, you know what? I believe DeKalb is a place where everyone belongs, but there's behaviors that don't. If you're going to exhibit that behavior in our community and you're going to be threatening like that and attack members of our community, then this isn't your community. Go somewhere else, period. This is not how we behave in the city of DeKalb. This is not how human beings in general, I think, should behave in the United States of America. But that really upset me, and I'm appalled. I don't know if they were residents of DeKalb. So for all I know, they could have been residents of another community just doing what they're doing. But I want to be clear on that. That is not something that we tolerate here in the city of DeKalb in any way, shape, or form. And I feel bad for those business people that are out there working hard, doing their thing, and just trying to be good stewards, good residents of the city of DeKalb, and they have to deal with something like that. So I just wanted to apologize to that community, that is not representative of who we are as a community, and I'm really hoping they saw the last of that. Couple quick things. We did meet, there's a whole thing on the Biometric Information Privacy Act that I've talked with some of you on, which is some legislation at the state of Illinois, which is impactful on some of the development that we've been seeing in the city of DeKalb. But we've been working, city manager and we've met with Jack Can, our governor's liaison. We've met with the head of the Chicagoland Area Chamber of Commerce, who's helped driving some legislation, Representative Kiker, who introduced a bill on this, the Data Center Coalition as well, and Commonwealth Edison. We were in Oak Brook Terrace the other day with them, and just really trying to advocate for some change in the legislation that, of course, the state of Illinois has the most restrictive policy in the United States of America, which is always great. But trying to advocate for some change. There is some movement there. Happy to talk with some council members offline a little bit more about that, but we are advocating as much as we can about that. Also met with the Boys and Girls Club. They're looking at opening up a location here, which was really cool. And then lastly, I'm going to get the last name wrong, but Don Fallhaber. He retired 30 years in the day, I think it was, so 30 years in one day. But at his retirement ceremony, Alderwoman Larson was there, Alderman Smith was there, I can't remember anyone else was there, but it was really cool to see the fire department come out and wish one of their own just goodbye. But it was also cool to hear him talk about he's also walking away after 30 years, happy, healthy, and still committed to our local fire department. So it was a pretty proud moment just watching that. City Manager, you were going to say something?
Just when it's my turn.
Yeah, okay, all right. I think that is it. So with that, City Manager, do you have any report?
Yes, real quick. Thanks to Deputy Chief Howison for sitting in tonight for the fire chief who's under the weather. Thank you. Thanks to Chief Byrd for meeting with a dozen or more Hispanic business owners who were the recipients of that letter that you referred to, and I thank him for.
Sir, if I could
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
for the body, after talking to the Latino community, I just want everyone to understand they are not afraid and they're here to stay.
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows, they are not afraid. If anything, they're just appalled by the inflammatory correspondence, just like you said. But I just want everyone in in the community of DeKalb to let them know they are not afraid and they are here to stay.
And I appreciate, Chief, I reached out and got a copy of the press release that the DeKalb Police Department did about how we will not cooperate with ICE according to Illinois state statute. And you did a great job really clarifying that point, that is not our role and that will not happen in the city of DeKalb. But I got a translated version into Spanish and got that in Elias's hands too, so we could pass that out. So appreciate you and your team having that available as well, Chief. City Manager.
And lastly, I just want to thank Brad Hoy, who's in the audience tonight, for his leadership on the Convention and Visitors Bureau. One of the reasons why we have a wrestling convention in our community is because of what the CVB does
Absolutely.
year in and year out. And I'm grateful for the work of that entity.
Anything else? Yes, no doubt, I know. And you were working that hard that day. Moving on to agenda item N, executive session, we have none, which is agenda item O, adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Powell. All in favor say aye. Aye. Nay, same sign. We are adjourned.